Cold shit. I ain't come with goons, but I'm well connected. Walk in the room and pop, 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 like you got rejected. Let me see if you qualify or not. Spinning up in a tinted truck, riding around your block. Busy man. I get a word, he ain't shit from top to bottom like a motherfucking ceiling fan. Hopping out the rental van, on my way to LAX. Brothers out in Cali and they killers out of every set. But I ain't crippin' on no blood. One West, all my niggas got it out the mud. Put your face on a t-shirt, memory of niggas acting tough in them songs, that's the drugs. I don't need no cases, all my pistols clean. So now I weigh my options, used to use the triple beam. Used to get the wop, mix it with the nicotine. Now I travel state to state and put on for my team.
The fuck wrong with them? Ain't on my level, I should let my dog get them. I see niggas and they feelings, I don't feel them. Kick the Glocky with me, it was like a ball with it. At the end, I gotta stay patient. They hate me, Lord, I gotta stay patient. You one of them? Yeah. What's the problem? I'm one West, go to war with everybody. Cut the grass for the snakes, fuck the gossip. Front line with them soldiers, that's my posture. Gun drawn, trying to curse the imposter. Shit get out the pocket, go to war with everybody, yeah. Send that hate, make it to the featherweights. Niggas claim they hard, but they sweeter than a dedication. Hold on, think it's time to introduce. I'm a man and a beast and a step and a ruler. Hold on, and a G and a soldier and a mover. Hold on, and a killer and a prophet and a shooter, nigga. Trying to stay humble, my shit crazy. Cold leader, need the blue stripe, no brick baby. Can't be serious, you a funny boy, young fly. Look wrong, must be a dummy, I ain't gun shy. Fuck that little bitch, she a hook. Nigga swear he the go, bring him to the bush. The fuck wrong with him? Ain't on my level, I should let my dog get him. Niggas in their feelings, I don't feel them. Kid the Glocky with me, it was like a ball with him. Be at the end, gotta stay patient. They hate me, Lord, I gotta stay patient. You one of them? What's the problem? I'm one West, go to war with everybody.
I'm from Philly, you get hot, you catch a cold case. I'm one West, these brothers trying to set my soul straight. They done turned me to a prophet from a demon, and I'm locked in this shit and I ain't leaving. Never. Ski mask transform to war mode like I'm Voltron. Stamp on my head and my chest from the most high. Put something tight around your neck like a bow tie. Got my niggas waiting charged up like they phone died.
Red letter, drip clean, it looks so fly. Claim he riding, that's why I left his ass roadside. He gon' die. Skyscraper to a nosedive. 9mm plus P, fuck a 4-5. The fuck wrong with him? Ain't on my level, I should let my dog get him. I see niggas and they feelings, I don't feel them. Kick the Glocky with me, it was like a ball with it. Be at the end, I gotta stay patient. They hate me, Lord, I gotta stay patient. You one of them? Yeah. What's the problem? I'm one West, go to war with everybody. Busy man, busy man. Look, when that shit drop, you step all the way on their neck, step on their neck and their head with that shit.
Fine then, I ain't show no mercy, we gon' show them boy what time it is. I pop out like I'm Samuel, I got time to kill, haters thought I died.
Shalom, Israel. With ISUPK coming out of 1 West Harlem, New York, 125th Street, under command of General YAHANNA. And since 1969, we've been bringing out the truth that Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians are the true children of Israel per the Bible. I'm your priest and officer, Yashua, coming back again with another episode of the Lashawan Qadash class. Lashawan Qadash means native tongue, holy tongue. We need to understand that, it's important that we know our language. It's important that we gather together. And it's even more important that we keep the Lord's statutes and commandments of the Most High God. Because without us having the Lord with us, we're lost. We're dead in the world. We're like the walking dead. Without Lord's statutes and commandments, we have no structure, no order. We don't have no path to go. We can all walk a path, but it's not the path that the Lord chose for us. You understand? We could say we do what we want because we grown, but let's call a spade a spade. It's a lot deeper. There's a lot deeper than that, Israel. We have to understand that we are a people that is supposed to be great. You understand? We're supposed to be above all nations upon the face of the earth. The 12 tribes of Israel are supposed to be above all other nations on the earth. We're supposed to be above the white man, the East Indian man, the Arab man, the African man, so on and so forth. You understand? Like, we're supposed to be above them all. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians are supposed to be above them all. And it's sad that we're not. That's the key thing right there. That's the part. That's the part that's being missed. We're not a part of what the Most High God set out for us, nor are we trying to become a part of it. You understand? Like, we black folks, like, we Negroes, we stubborn as all hell. You understand? We don't want to gather together. We don't want to get to know our God by keeping his law, statutes, and commandments. We don't care if our God is with us because we're too busy pleasing our goddamn flesh. I'm selling all these drugs, 40 going north. I got packs to move. And I got weed to roll up. You understand? That's the type of mindset that we in as a people. How can we gather together as a people and learn these law, statutes, and commandments just so we can please the Most High? It's like when you're a kid. It's like when you're a child, and your father tells you to, take out the garbage, wash the dishes, and when you're done, make sure you clean your room and make your bed up. You do all of that. And you go above and beyond. You sweep and mop. You understand? Because you don't want to hear your father mouth. You don't want your father to chastise you. You don't want him to discipline you. Same thing when it comes to the Most High God. He wants us to keep his laws, statutes, and commandments. Because if we're keeping his laws, statutes, and commandments, we're not breaking any rules. We're not breaking any laws. We're not breaking any commandments whatsoever, Israel. As long as we're gathered together as a people, as long as we're keeping the Most High God's laws, statutes, and commandments, we don't have no worries. Most High provides for us. What's a bill? You understand? Like, don't get me wrong. We need dollars to survive in today's kingdom. You understand? But technically, we don't need money. Well, we don't need their money. If we keep the money within our communities, we can flourish. If blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians can gather together, keep the law, statutes, and commandments, and do business together, I pray to see the day that happens. You understand? 'Cause I believe in my people. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, I believe in you. And I believe that we can gather together and keep these law, statutes, and commandments. I believe we can keep these high holy days as a tradition and pass them down to generations. I believe that we can learn this holy tongue called the Lashawan Qadash. You understand? And further please the Lord. Khan, you know what? And Shalom, y'all Bashim, y'all Shop Rocket Thoughts, young man Hector in the chat. And you're right, young man Hector. There's a lot of people out there that loves this world, you know? And the reason why they love this world, because this world lets you do what you want to do, even if it means to destroy yourself. And they let you do it in peace, and they let you do it happily because they want you up out of here too. See, it's a catch-22 to everything. And for every action, there's a reaction. You understand? Yeah, they want us to get high. So they legalized marijuana. Yes, they want us to kill ourselves. So they gave us safe smoking kits and legalized crack and got controlled crack house environments. So they could study our behavior like we some goddamn lab rats. You understand? Just so they could dissect us and see what makes us tick. You know, back in the day, that's what they did when they unalived Nat Turner. They didn't just hang Nat Turner. They burned him alive and then ate him piece by piece because they thought by eating the flesh of Nat Turner that they can embody his strength. They thought that they can embody his spirit. They thought they can embody his willingness to rebel. You understand? And his thirst for battle. That's why they did Nat Turner so dirty. They've killed us by the millions. Nat Turner took out 60 white folks. It's a good number. It's a damn good number. Nowhere near enough. You understand? Let Nat Turner had went off to continue to tear their behinds up. Imagine if he really had the Lord with him, not just learning the Bible, but imagine if Nat Turner knew the Lashawan Qadash. He would sit there and communicate with slaves speaking in the ancient tongue, and the goddamn oppressor wouldn't know what to do. Wouldn't know what to do with it. Let's see. Precept, 2 Timothy 2:4. Let's see what this is, young man Hector. Said it keeps you on track, eh? Let's see what it says. Second Timothy, verse 4. It's the book of 2 Timothy, chapter 2, verse 4. No man that warreth entangleth himself with the affairs of this life, that he may please him who have chosen him to be a soldier. Damn right. You know, that's a solid precept, young man Hector. I already have that in my precept book. You understand? Like, it's like this is a heavy scripture. It says, no man warreth entangleth himself with the affairs of the world, meaning we go out there and be priests and prophets in the world, and it's warfare. Like, you're right, it's spiritual warfare. Our people didn't forget, young man Hector. They don't know nor realize that this is spiritual warfare. See, when they hear us talk, they're taking what we're saying in the literal sense. This is why they get so confused, because they're like, well, we don't hear about y'all doing nothing on the news. We don't hear y'all other than Commander General YAHANNA prophesying. You understand? Prophesying everything that's been happening. He's been saying it for years. Nobody wanted to listen. And now it's coming out. You know, any man that go to war in this world is not to entangle himself in the affairs of it. You understand? Because once you do that, you start embodying the heathen customs, whether if they're East Indian or Arab or, you know, African or whatever. You start embodying their ways. Like, for example, look at how in all of our urbanized neighborhoods, you'll have two masjids, right, for Islam. You'll have one with just the Arabs and you'll have one with just the niggas. It's almost impossible for black Muslims and Arab Muslims to come together under one roof, because Arab Muslims don't believe that black people really follow that faith and follow in the same path that they follow. You understand? Because a lot of our black Muslims in our communities, they 5%ers. They became Muslims in prison. You get what I'm saying? So a lot of them turned to them, turned to the Arab, instead of just gathering together like in Zephaniah 2 verse 1. Why you couldn't just gather yourselves together, O nation not desired? Why blacks and the Spanish just couldn't come together? Two heads is always better than one. Let me tell you something, Israel. We can't get past go if we don't gather together. We can't even begin to learn the Lashawan Qadash until we start learning who we are and who we belong to. You understand? You got some sisters that's in the truth that takes the truth more serious than you. That should be a wake-up call. You understand, Israel? Like, we have to understand that we're hated against. So we are all we got. So it would make more sense for us to learn these law, statutes, and commandments and learn them together, and not just learn them, but keep them and incorporate them in our everyday life. And learn this Lashawan Qadash. Learn your native tongue. Think about how powerful that is when you could be in a room full of white folks and it's just you and one other black person, and y'all know the native tongue, and y'all having a whole conversation around these heathens, and they don't know what the hell y'all saying. You understand what I'm saying, Israel? But young man, Hector, that is a powerful scripture, and I see how it keeps you on track. You know, because it says, "No man that warreth," this is the book of 2 Timothy, chapter 2, verse 4. "No man that warreth entangle in himself with the affairs of this life, that he may please him who have chosen him to be a soldier." Meaning, if you're going to war with this world and you're not entangling yourself with the affairs of this world and you're pleasing the Most High, that's what it's about. You putting the work of the Lord in and pleasing the Most High. That's all it is at the end of the day. No matter how I'll put it, no matter how y'all may slice it up, regardless, it is what it is. I pray I'll understand, Israel. Now, I was looking up some stuff for history, right? Because we also got to take into consideration that the Lashawan Qadash, which means the holy tongue, it has history, and we have to learn our history. This is why I bring it out when I teach history on Mondays. It's very imperative that we not only study these law, statutes, and commandments, but we live them. You understand? Just as much as we just as much as we was when we was in the world, we was loving our families and loving these so-called pagan holidays. Why can't we love the Lord that much and love these law, statutes, and commandments even more and lock in on that? So what, it might seem boring. This is what we do. This is what it is. What you think is going to be when Christ returns is work. You got to be prepared to put your brick in however you may have to put it in. Like, what are we going to do, Israel? Is we going to step up to the plate and tighten the hell up? or we're gonna fold up like a fruit roll up. Like, we have to take these law, statutes, and commandments as serious as we take everything else in our life. We have a lack of prioritization. We all do, Israel. We're all greedy of it. And this is why me and other brothers in the UPK are in the position that we're in. We're here to teach and aid and assist and make sure our brothers and sisters, the Akim and the Akwathim, are learning these law, statutes, and commandments and learning this Hebrew language. But yeah, again, young man, Hector, that was a solid precept, brother. Let me see something. Now we're going through a little background of our culture and of our language, right? But again, this is like history. We're not just going to put words on the board and teach what they are. No, we have to learn, because some of these words have root words to it. Some of them root words have a story behind it. You understand, Israel? So we have to be smart. We have to choose wisely and learn this, and not just learn the law, statutes, and commandments, but learn this Hebrew. Okay. Let me see here. I'm about to share the screen. Now, right here it says the King James Version, right, of the Bible was first published in 1611. It was commissioned by King James I of England and was the result of a collaborative effort by 54 scholars who worked on the translation for 7 years. 54 scholars had worked to translate this ancient text for 7 years. So understand how insane that sounds, let alone it being done. This is why this is our oldest living history records. Like, we are the missing part of history. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. Let's see. The KJV was intended to be a response to religious and political tensions in England at the time and aimed to provide unified and universal accepted English translation of the Bible. Let's see. Let's go to the translation process, right? It says the scholars were divided into 6 committees, each focusing on specific parts of the Bible. They consulted previous English translations, including Tyndale's and the Geneva Bible, and also drew from the best available Hebrew, Greek, and Latin texts. Now, this is how they was breaking down the translation process. They had split the scribes up as committees, and they all attacked different areas of the Bible, because it's not just a breakdown of the translation. They're translating it in multiple languages, and also making sure that our Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians that already currently speak the Hebrew know what we're bringing out, know what we're talking about, and making sure that nobody gets in their way. You understand? King James had gathered some of the wisest men to translate this Bible and to translate its text. All right, I'm gonna get off of this right now. We'll get back to that. Now I'm gonna put up the first word, right? we're going to go back over the word the water, right? The water means thank you in the Hebrew, right? Check it out. Let's now see the word the water, the wa da in the Hebrew means thank you. Now, if you look down, it's written in the ancient Hebrew. And now you got to read from right to left. Now, if you was paying attention in class and taking notes, you'll know that that X-looking symbol right there means the. You understand? The, like THA, the. And then you have the middle symbol, which looks like a Y, but it's really not. That's the symbol for Wa. You understand? So it's the Wa. Slovakia. Let me correct that. It's right to left. So the connectors is the and the Wa. So you would connect the and the Wa. So the Wa connected and da. Da is its own entity. That's why you don't see the connection going from the Wa into the da. The Wa and then da. The water. I'll give y'all another minute to write it down. Right? That's the next word. Let me see if I can adjust that lighter for you. A yonder bar. Remember, right to left. And then the ya is ya na. So remember, I tell you when it's for grammar correction. So it's ya, but yun. So instead of it being ya and na, you bring the ya and the na together, yun. You take the a off the end of na, and you connect the two words. You connect the yun. So it's yun, duh is by itself, non-connector, and then bar, ba. So it's ba and ra. So you bring ba and ra together. You take the a off the ra, and you got bar. Those are connected. So it's yun, duh, bar. The two words that are not connected is the and the duh. Everything else is connected. Give you another minute to write that down. But yeah, a yun, duh, bar, which means you're welcome. So when someone says the water, you say a yonder bar. Right? Hope y'all had time I gave y'all enough time to write those words down. You got the water, the, wa, da, which means thank you. And then you have yun, the bar, which is you're welcome in the Hebrew as well. Let's see. Next, Israel. Let's dig a little more in the background of the Holy Tongue, the Lashawan Qadash, right? Now, Wikipedia, sometimes you have to be mindful when you're doing research on our culture, anything involving our culture, our our overall well-being and stuff is always going to be put in a dark light, dark connotation. You understand? And that's just how this is how our culture have been lost over the centuries. One, because we disobeyed God. You understand? And not only did we disobey the Most High God, we pleased our flesh and consumed and consumed and consumed. You understand, Israel? Us as blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, we're in a bad way in today's society. We're in all right, you know, like how we walk around lost in the world from not knowing the law, statutes, and commandments. Let's say we know the law, statutes, and commandments, right? Let's go as far as to say we even keep the law, statutes, and commandments, right? What good is it if you don't know your native tongue? Like, really think about what I'm saying. Let's say, for argument's sake, we know the law, statutes, and commandments, and for the most part, we keep the law, but we can't speak a lick of Hebrew. Like, that's something we have to make sense. How can you know one thing but not know the other, or at least be studying the other? Think about when we have a high holy day or a feast day, right? When the priest bring you up there to read the Hebrew, you getting put on the spot right there. We have to take more pride in ourselves. We have to take more pride in ourselves so we can learn to be better brothers and better sisters to one another. We need to take a great pride in ourselves with the work that we've been doing thus far in doing the Lord's work. We as blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, we have to what's the word I'm looking for? We have to seriously get rooted in this truth. If we don't get rooted in this truth, then we're just lost. And if we're lost, then what's the point? This is why we do the work that we do. We raise the dead, meaning we breathe, we get the breath of life put in you by the Most High God. You understand, Israel? The Most High is not going to hear your cries or your prayers unless you're doing some type of work towards Him. I pray y'all understand, Israel. Just lock it. Almost forgot I had precepts, right? So I'll go as far as to say, like, we have precepts of our native tongue. You get what I'm saying? We have precepts of the Lashawan Qadash. So that way those so-called hardcore Christians can't try to call us on the stuff that we bring out. You understand? Let's see. We're gonna go to this. We're gonna start with the book of Acts. The book of Acts, chapter 2, verse 4. And they were all filled with the Holy Ghost and began to speak with others' tongues as the Spirit gave them utterance. That's heavy. It said, and they were filled with the joy ghost and belonged to speak with other tongues as the Spirit gave them utterance. Meaning we were able to speak other native tongues to other so-called Christians or whatnot, or other, it's the word I'm looking for. It's crazy. Hold on. Young man Hector, he threw one out there again. He said John chapter 9, verse 31. Let's see if you're cooking with grease today. 9 and 30, 9 and 31. Come. It's the book of John, chapter 9, verse 31. Now we know that God heareth not sinners, but if any man be a whisperer of God and doeth his will, him he heareth. Again, if you're doing the work of the Lord and you're at least trying to shed yourself for the world, but you go to the gym once, maybe twice a week, if that much. You know, if you're sinning, the Most High God don't hear your cries. He don't hear your rants and your so-called buddy stuff. Like, think about it. If let's get Christian for a minute. If the Most High God say He don't like sinners, and you say you sin, right? Let's say, for example, you say you follow the Most High God, but you smoke cigarettes, right? Something simple as cigarettes. Let's say you let's say you want to come into the truth. You know what I'm saying? You started understanding what your grandmama Bible was telling you, but you still sinning. Most High is not going to hear your cries. He's not going to hear your prayers. It falls on deaf ears. When the Most High, when the Most High wants you to hear His call, you better hear it diligently. That's why in Deuteronomy 28:1 it says, "Hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God." The voice of the Lord thy God has chosen thee to be a special people unto Himself. So we have to take into consideration that there's a process, Israel. Even if we just stop sinning today, doesn't mean we're going to stop sinning tomorrow. So it is a constant fight. We have to fight Wisconsin. We have to fight Salaki. We have to. It's like we have to fight. We have to fight our flesh. We have to fight the world. We have to fight oppression. So the least we could do is attempt to try to keep the law, statutes, and commandments, right? And that's where keeping the law, statutes, and commandments is not grievous to do the work of the Lord. And it says it in the scriptures. So it's even simpler to learn the native tongue. It's even simpler to learn the Lashawan Qadash. If we can shut ourselves of the world, right? Stop smoking, stop getting high, stop eating pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster, not fornicating and sleeping with the hoes anymore. And you take it seriously and you buckle down and you get rooted into this truth. The Most High God will reward you. You understand what I'm saying? The Most High God will bless you. Let's say you trying to learn the Hebrew, but you're just not getting it. The Most High God will give you the strength you need to overcome whatever adversities you're facing. You understand, Israel? I pray you do. Because, again, the scripture says, now we know that God heareth not sinners. Now we know the Lord don't hear them. Most High God don't hear the sinners. But He hear my cries. If I go plead to the Most High God, I guarantee He going to do something. Because I'm doing the work of the Lord and I'm fighting. I'm constantly fighting my flesh. I'm constantly fighting this and that and the third. The least I could do is serve the Most High God. You understand, Israel? If you can give up pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster, if you can give up fornication, then you could take an hour a day out of your time, out of your life, and study the Lashawan Qadash. Study, learn it, live it, love it. It's there at your fingertips. It's good to know the Bible. I get it. It's excellent to be a scholar in the Lord's work, in the Lord's army. You understand? Learn that Hebrew. Study that Hebrew, Israel. You understand? I pray you do, Israel. Because it said, now we know that God heareth not sinners, but if any man be a whisperer of God and doeth his will, him he heareth. Meaning, if you do the work of the Lord and it's not grievous, the Lord will be with you. One moment, Israel. I'm going to get the board ready. I'm going to put the Lashawan Qadash back up real quick, and then I'm going to erase it, and I'm going to put up the next word or two. So the top word is the water. The water in the Hebrew means thank you. Second word is ayun dabar, which means you're welcome in the Hebrew. Ayun dabar. Make sure you're writing down those connectors. That is a very important thing. So you know how the word is broken down in the Hebrew to English, and you understand the context of it by the connecting factors. Give y'all another minute to make sure y'all get that down. Right. Let's see. What am I going to do next? Bear with me, Israel. I'll give y'all another minute while I go through my notes. Okay, bear with me, Israel. I'm just searching for something. I know it's in here. Let's see. Let me see. All right. Okay, let's see what we got here. Uh, all right. I'll just bear with me for one moment, Israel. Let me bring this back. All right. I'm going to clear the board now. I hope y'all wrote it down and took notes. I'm going to clear the board and I'm going to put up some other items on the board. All right. Bear with me, Israel. All right. Now we're going to put up the next clip of words. Always remember something, Israel. You're only as good as the effort you put in when you practice. You understand? Practice makes perfect. And the more that you work on mastering the basics, when you get handed the advanced stuff, it doesn't become as much of a challenge. You understand what I'm saying, Israel? Like, if you can master the alphabet, the possibilities is endless what you can do. You might come up with a even better way to bring out certain scriptures or certain prayers in the Hebrew or something that would wow the generals. You understand what I'm saying? We as Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, we have an innate ability to adapt and adjust. And when we face adversity, we can overcome. Let's get the words on the board ready. You gotta master this alphabet, Israel. So we're gonna go over the first word. The first word, Shalom. Yahweh Shema, Themba Hashem, Yahweh Shah. Shalom, sis. All right. First word we're gonna go back over is but Allah. Allah means cow in the Hebrew. Allah. AHLOP. Allah. And the English translation of Allah is cow. Next word, bayath. Bayath in the Hebrew. English word, tent. Bayath in the Hebrew. English breakdown is tent. Next word, let me correct that word so you don't write the wrong thing. Gamal. Gamal in the Hebrew. That's what Ga means in the Hebrew, Gamal. And the English translation for Gamal is camel. Gamal is God, is the Hebrew word for God, and the English translation is camel. I'll give y'all a minute to finish writing that down. Another minute, Israel, and then I'm going to put up the next set of words. One more second, and then I'm going to put the next set of words up for you, Israel. And make sure you write everything down. All right. Y'all bear with me. I'm about to put the next clip of words up. All right. There you go. Make sure y'all take these notes. Good to keep good notes. And during the class, during the week, make sure you build your precept book. Another very important thing to do, Israel. It's good to have your create and build your precept book as you're growing in the truth. Very important. All right. Next word up is da. Da is Dalath. Dalath. There's a glare from one of the lights that's blocking that second letter. So that's Dalath. 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 That's the Hebrew word. The English definition is door. So da is Dalath in the Hebrew. The English definition of Dalath is door. Next word up is ha. Ha in the Hebrew is hana. Hana in the Hebrew. The English definition of hana means here, like come here. You understand? So ha in the Hebrew is hana. Hana in the English means here. Ha is hana in the Hebrew. The English translation for hana is here. Next word down is Yah. Yah in the Hebrew means wah. Wah in English means fishing hook. Now, as you're going along in this truth, you'll learn that some words have double meanings as well. You understand, Israel? Some words might have a extra meaning. So, in order to understand, you'll have to gain context. Once you have the context of it, then you'll understand which meaning is it being used for. But Yah is wah in the Hebrew. Translation: fishing hook. Be a minute to write that one down, and I'm gonna get to the next one down. Next word up is Zah. Z-A, Zah. Hebrew word for Zah is Zayan. Zayan. The English translation for Zayan is weapon. Weapon. Zah is Zayan in the Hebrew. The English translation of Zayan is weapon. All right. We got one last minute to write that right. Make sure you got those words. And I'm going to put the next clip of words up there. Now back to what I was saying with the scriptures earlier. If we go to the book of Acts, chapter 2, verse 4, it says, And they were all filled with the Holy Ghost, and began to speak with their other tongues, as the Spirit gave them utterance, meaning they spoke in another tongue, because that's the spirit they were in. You know, in today's time, those church people speak gibberish, nothing of importance, nothing of substance, just flat out gibberish. If we go to the book of Mark, chapter 16, verse 17, it says, And these signs shall follow them that believe. In my name shall they cast out devils. They shall speak with new tongues. Meaning these new officers that's getting raised up in this truth, they are outstanding brothers, and they are learning the Lashawan Qadash. They are speaking with the new tongue. You understand? They're making an example so they can become the example. They're putting in themselves in position to have the strength and the know-how to cast out devils. That's for those hardcore Christians. You understand? Where was I? All right, let me get these next set of words up there for you, Israel. Bear with me. Shah. All right, Israel. Next word up is ka. Ka. Chaa. Ka. The Hebrew word for ka is kawama. Kawama. What I'm going to do next week is for each word, I'm going to break it down and write it out in Hebrew and teach you the connectors. I'm already almost halfway in the alphabet. I didn't get a chance to go through the connectors like I did in the beginning with the first couple of words. But it's all right, never fear. Next week, I'll be able to go over it with you, and we're going to make it happen. The word is ka, kawama in the Hebrew. And the English definition for kawama is fence. So kawama is fence in the Hebrew. Next word is ta. T-A, ta. The Hebrew word for ta is tanah. Ta. Ta in the Hebrew is tanah. The English definition for tanah is basket. Next word up is Yah. Yah in the Hebrew is Yad. English definition of Yad is hand. And when they say Yad Karab, that means hands of war. Yad. Yad is the Hebrew word. English definition is hand. Give y'all a couple of minutes to write it down. Sure, I got it down, and then I'll move along to the next set. All right, one more minute, and then I'm going to put the next set of words up for you, Israel. All right, Israel, I'm going to set up the board again, the next set of words. I hope y'all make sure y'all wrote everything down. If it was unclear on the board, let me know. I'll try to make it as clear as possible. All right, Israel, we're back. First word up next, ka. Ka with K-A, ka. Kop. Kop is ka in the Hebrew. Now, remember, I told you to look out for words that have that double meaning. This is one of those words that has the double meaning. So you have to check the context when you're reading Hebrew. Kop, kop, which is K-A-P, cap. We say kop. Kop means either palm, like the palm of your hand, or it can mean spoon. Kop, and it's the Hebrew word. And kop can mean palm, like the palm of your hand, or it can mean spoon. All right. As kop, ka is kop in the Hebrew, and that can mean either palm, like the palm of your hand, or like a palm strike, or it can mean spoon. Next word is la, L-A, la, lamad. Lamad is the word in the Hebrew. Lamad. English translation for lamad is to learn. Lamad means to learn. La, which means lamad. English translation for lamad is to learn. Next word down is ma. Ma in the Hebrew means mayam. M-A-Y-A-M, mayam. The English translation for mayam is water. Right? Ma is mayam in the Hebrew. Mayum means water. Next word down is na. Na for Nawan. Definite English translation of Nawan is sprout. Like a branch is sprouting out of a tree. The word na is Nawan in the Hebrew. The English translation is sprout. Sprout. I'm going to give y'all 2 minutes to make sure y'all write all this down. And then I'll put up the next set of words. Right? One moment. Get the next set of words up. Next word up is sa. Sa. Sa in the Hebrew is samak. Samak in the Hebrew. English translation is to establish. Establish. Sa. Samak in the Hebrew. English translation, establish. Establish. Next word down is ayan. I. I in Hebrew is ayan. When I say ayan, ayah, that means eyes on me. I'll teach that phrase next week. We're going to start putting these words in alphabet together. But I is ayan. English translation of ayan is I, like your eyeball. I. English for ayan. Ayan in the Hebrew is I, like eyeball. Next word down, pa. P-A, pa. Pa, P-A-H. Pa in the Hebrew. English definition of pa is mouth. Pa. Pa in the Hebrew means mouth in English. Pa. Next word down is tizah. The Hebrew word for tizah is tizad. Hebrew word for tizad is side. Tizah. It's tizad in Hebrew, and the English means side. I'll give y'all 2 minutes to make sure y'all write all this down, and then I'll put up the last set of words. One more minute, Israel. Put up the last set of words. All right, Israel. All right, Israel. We're at the home stretch. Kara, QA, Kara, Karam, Kawam in the Hebrew. English definition is rise. Rise again. Kawam, which means to rise. Next word down, Ra, R-A, Ra, Ra'ash. Ra'ash means head. Ra'ash means your head. Ra'ash means head. Next word down is Shah. S-H-A, Shah. The Hebrew word is shun. S-H-A-N, shun. And the English definition for shun is tooth. And the last one at the bottom is thaw. T-H-A, thaw. The word is thaw. T-H-A-W, thaw in the Hebrew. And the English definition of thaw is mark, like X marks the spot. Dog in the Hebrew is mark. Give y'all a couple minutes to write that down. Cover a little bit more history, and then we wrap this up. All right. Give y'all another minute or two. Make sure y'all get all this down. All right. In Israel, it's very important that we study and learn this Hebrew. It's deeper than learning the law, statutes, and commandments. You understand? We have to know our native tongue. Think about when we're around other nations like East Indians, Chinese people, so on and so forth, and they get around us and they start speaking in their language. We automatically think they're talking about us. 9 out of 10, they just might be. But how we're gonna know if we don't protect ourselves by studying, by learning? There's nothing wrong with learning other native tongues. So if you ever find yourself in a bond, a jam, or in them other countries, use it to your advantage, Israel. You understand? Study your history. Study your Lashawan Qadash. It's important to know who you are and where you come from. You understand? And it's even more important to know your native language. Y'all make sure y'all tune in next week for the Lashawan Qadash. We're gonna go over context. We're gonna go over the connectors. So when you learn how to write it in Hebrew, you'll be able to know how to connect it. You understand? And again, like I said, make sure y'all study. Make sure y'all tune in Monday for the history class. I might reiterate something from class if Lord allow it, if I teach the history class Monday. You understand? I pray y'all do understand Israel. Until the next episode, shalom.